Good afternoon, everybody. It's your friend Bruno, and we're down here in beautiful southeast Illinois. As you can see, for the moment, we've got a bit of a breeze, and right now it's about, I don't know, 91, 94, whatever it is, wherever you are. And the humidity is way up there. I can't remember what I saw it to be, but it's up there. Looks to be a beautiful day out there, I gotta tell you. But yeah, we definitely got a heat index thing going on. I'm gonna step back for a second. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and set up the green screen thing. Because right now, if you stand anywhere near the sun, especially if your front drive is concrete, hey, Pat says, hey, welcome aboard, Pat. We're just talking about the weather. I'm going to go ahead and flip this thing through to a green screen because actually I'm kind of working through some stuff while we're doing the chat. Is that okay by you? I hope. So let me go ahead and do the green screen thing. I can do that when see what I mean? I mean, it's green. Let me see if I can get you something to look at. Okay. Yeah, here, we can do something like this. This looks kind of fun. And just picture me, in the backyard with some daylilies in the background. We've got a few of those left. Most of those are gone already. And nonetheless, oh, wow. So there's the green screen. And so, what's up with you, Pat? What are you up to? What's anybody up to if they tune in? Yeah. Right now, it looks like Pat's the only one aboard. And Pat's having breakfast for lunch. Boy, I can hear you there. So what you having there? Is it something cool, I hope? Because it's got to be hot where you are, too. And welcome aboard, everybody. You're more than welcome to check in and let us know what you're having for lunch. I know I got to get around and actually make mine. Pat is having pancakes. How about the rest of you? What are you guys having? Or have plans for chow? Oh, heavens to Murgatroyd, looks like we got a mob. There's 8 people on already. Oh my gosh. We're going to be busy here. And YMAP says, hello, Bruno. Well, hi, YMAP. How are you doing? You having lunch too, or where are you? Pat's not too far away. He's, I'm trying to think, you're down in Oklahoma, isn't that right, Pat? Can you hear me there? Yep. And YMAP's calling in from Missouri, so you're in the middle of this wonderful heatly wave too, aren't you? Yeah. Okay, yeah, Pat's in Georgia. I'm sorry, Georgia, Oklahoma. I can't keep everybody straight. Oh my gosh. We just got to play through it. Like I said, we're talking about silly things we do. Yep. Oh my gosh. So what's the weather where y'all are? Is it like we've got here, just hot and clear and dry? Or not dry, hot and clear with maybe a little bit of a breeze? Pat says it's fine, Bruno, LOL. Yeah, well, you've got to be acclimated to it. You're a bit younger than I am. The older you get, the more this stuff can really whack at you. I'll be honest, like I said, it's 94, probably 93, 94 where I am. The heat index is up around 99 already out in the sun. And then if you step into the shade with the breeze, at my age, you actually get goosebumps. It's just crazy. But you go out in the sun, you will cook in nothing flat. And Pat says in Georgia it's hot and partly cloudy. And YMAP wants to know what's happening with the weather. Well, I think we just kind of covered that. Just around here, this is kind of typical for our summers. So, yeah, it's been this way since as far back as I can remember. And that's in this region going back, maybe 50 years. So really, this isn't anything unusual, at least from my point of view. Now, if it lasts a long time, yeah, then we got something going on. But hopefully it won't. And according to the National Weather Service and their observations, they only got the heat advisory up for about a week, and then this stuff's going to move on. Of course, there's that big storm. What is it? Is it Eric? Is what it is down south? The hurricane. You know, a lot of that depends on what happens with that hurricane, and of course with the high pressure system that's holding the heat dome over us for the time being. So that's pretty much everything I know. So don't let me bore you to death. Just go ahead and chime in about anything. What kind of music y'all listen to today? Looks like the live stream's gone kind of quiet. And Pat says, I'm hoping we have a snow front this winter again. This year was the first ever year where I live was blessed with 5 inches of snow. Wow, yeah. Yeah. We might get that, you just never know. As they used to say up at the National Weather Service at Lincoln, all it takes is 2 butterflies in Peru to get together and say, watch this. And my gosh, up here in North America, we can get anything. We can get anything. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. Yeah. Oh, I used to love winter so much. Oh my gosh, how I used to just love winter. And but I'm getting older and creakier and all that, and so now I still enjoy winter. It just having to be inside all the time, it bums me out. Yeah, and Pat agrees with me. That's true. Yeah. How about you, YMAP? What do you think about the winter? What do you think about what's coming up this year? I mean, your little icon there shows a semi truck. Are you a truck driver? Well, looks like it's just dropped down to one person watching right now. Yeah. Like I said, the chat's gone kind of quiet. Oh, heck, Pat. I assume that's you that's still hanging in there. Oh, man, I gotta tell you, thinking about you having to play quads out on a field in weather like this, like at a ball game or something, or marching, anything like that. My heavens, my heavens. Oh, my little sister, she was in the marching band at I'm trying to think, what was it? Well, it was Normal Community High School back in the day, and they were marching, and I remember, Mindy just played snare, and my gosh, she passed out. I wasn't there to see it, but boy, I heard about it. but they were marching and she passed out. And Pat says here, all I can tell you, it's so hot here that I don't even want to step outside. I can't say as I blame you. I can't say as I blame you. Right now here, like I said, it's 91 degrees by the thermometer. Feels like 99. We're possibly going to feel like 105 before the afternoon's over in the sun. But inside, I've got 72 right now, and I have to hold it at 72 or else I lose the balance in the plant that keeps the air conditioner, or keeps the temperature, and it'll rise up into the 80s. So Pat says here, I know. That's what I'm saying. My brother's like, you're not going to lose weight. I'm marching in 90 or more degree heat with 40-pound drums on. Yeah. And like I said, Mindy was just carrying a snare. And, I could not. For one thing, Pat, I don't have the coordination to do marching band. I just don't. I never have. Now, sit and play, that's one thing. But, walk and chew gum at the same time, I've always had trouble with. Oh, my God. And I got to ask you, Pat, I put up a link to the prelude music to the movie Hellfighters. And I don't know if you saw that in from my video this morning. But I was listening to it. Of course, I listen to it a lot. It's 3 minutes of just it's just like cornflakes to me. I can listen to that thing all day. But now that we've made our acquaintance and everything, it was so interesting because now when I hear it, I could hear the quads in that performance. And I thought about you. As I was listening to it this morning. Yeah, and I just wondered if you've ever listened to that and could pick up the quads in it. I mean, they add so much to the fullness of the music. Yeah. Well, welcome aboard. Pat and I are just chatting here, and Pat. I'll go ahead at the when I'm done with this live stream. What I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and provide the link again in the description to the as the live stream becomes a video. Usually it takes a few hours for it to upload, at least. But I'll put a link in the description so that you can go to YouTube Music and listen to it yourself. And like I said, it's a real quick ditty, but I gotta tell you, just listening to it and the intricacy of it, I would just be flat out overwhelmed if a marching band ever tried to attempt that, or a drum corps. I mean, if they tried to perform that music and march at the same time, oh my gosh, I don't know how that would even be possible. But like I said, I have trouble walking and chewing gum at the same time, so there you go. And Pat says, I have a DCI show I think you should listen to. It's Carolina Crown 2010, a second chance. Okay, so if I do a search, just entering, and I'm going to read this, so actually I can come back and verify it, because whenever I do this, it doesn't save the chat stream. So if I would do a search on YouTube for DCI Carolina Crown 2010 a second SEC numeral 2 ND chance. And Pat says here, you can just type in Carolina Crown 2010. Okay, I'll have to do that. And let's see here. Is it a full competition or is it just your group performing? Just waiting for Pat to get back to me. We're talking about drum corps and music and weather and all kinds of stuff here. Anybody can jump in. And Pat says, I wasn't in that group. I'm only 15. Well, that's okay. That's okay. Still, it's fun to watch them compete, isn't it? I know I enjoy it. Yeah. I couldn't imagine being in the stands on a hot day, but, or them out on the field. That would just be brutal. But when you're younger, it's great. And Pat agrees. Yep. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yep. That is incredible. I remember when I lived up in Bloomington Normal, there was during the summertime, actually this time of year, just after Father's Day, there would be the marching band camps that would gather at the old ISU arena, which is now gone and has been replaced. And there were various breakout groups, and all over the university campus, they would be practicing, and you could hear them for miles. And Pat says, I might be going to the DCI Atlantic competition with the drum line. Now that would be cool to see. Where's that going to be held, Pat? Atlanta, Georgia. So is that very far from where you are? And Pat says it's about a good 3 hours. Yeah, so that's a little bit of a haul. So you're only 15. I take it, you got friends you're going to be going with, or mom and dad, or somebody. Mm-hmm. Just kind of wondering out loud. Are you going as part of a bigger group on a bus or something like that? And Pat says, the school's drum line, a friend said he says he's going with the school drum line. A friend said he'll pay for me. He also said it'll be my early birthday present. Now that's fantastic. That is just nothing shy of fantastic. Wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, you're lucky to have friends like that. Are they into drumline things too? Mm-hmm. And Pat says, yes, he's a marching cymbal. That's with a C, Cymbal, not symbol as in, like an icon, but that he actually plays the cymbal or the cymbals, plural, in the band performance. Wow, that is so cool. That is so cool. You see, back in the day when I was in band, of course, ours was a concert band. So, and it was high school and everything. And during the summer, because we were a rural community and there was so much farming and such, and the animals needed to be tended to and all that, our band kind of scattered to the four winds, and we might only be able to get together with our band director maybe, once or twice a month just to touch up on our studies. We had to do a lot of self study if we could afford to, and we would lose so much of our coordination and our memory. So when we got together again at the beginning of the year, my God, we sounded awful. Beginning of the school year, we sounded awful. My gosh, we couldn't find our way out of a box with a flashlight and a map. We were so bad. But boy, we'd come back. We'd come back real quick. And the funny thing was, I think that worked for the new kids we would pick up when we were in junior high. Because we all were kind of rusty. So everybody sounded bad. And then as Mr. Gingler would begin to correct us during our lessons, we'd meet 3 times a week in school for band for an hour. 1 hour, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And, everybody learned how to play again together every year. And Pat says here, I'm saving up for a GoPro or a cheap alternative like that so I can attach it to the tenors and do tenors POV. Oh, that would be neat. That would be neat. Now, when you say the tenors, are you talking which instrument in particular tenor would that be? I mean, I could make the assumption that those would be tenor sax or tenor saxophone. Am I correct, or is it a different instrument? And he said, I am talking about the quads. So the quads are separated in their tone. Oh my gosh. Okay. Am I correct in that? The quads are actually separated in their tone too? Okay, he says, I call the quads tenors sometimes. Okay. I think I'm beginning to understand. Now, I'm just curious about something. Have you ever listened to or watched a handbell group play where there's like 3 or 5 individuals and they play music on handbells? And the reason I ask is because handbells, I would tend to think, are somewhat of a percussion instrument themselves. But yeah, their tones go up and down. It's pretty interesting. And Pat says, yes, all drums on a quad have different tones. The Spock has the highest tone, drum 1 has the second highest, drum 2 is the third highest, drum 3 is the second lowest, and drum 4 is the lowest. All right, now I have another question for you. When I saw your video where you were trying out the quads for the first time, was there a small drum between 2 and 3, but back towards your belly? Am I correct in what I saw there, Pat? And Pat says, yes, there's a small drum, and that's called the Spock. Okay. Now, just curious, do you know why it's called a Spock? S-P-O-C-K. Being the nerd that I am, course, the first thing I think of when I hear or see the word Spock are either Dr. Spock, who I want to say was a pediatrician back in the day, somewhat renowned, or the character of Spock on Star Trek, which was played by Leonard Nimoy. So tell us, Pat, do you know why or how the Spock drum got its name? And Pat says, I don't know at all. Well, that's okay. That's okay. I guess that gives us both something to maybe do a little research onto and see what kind of answers we come up with. Yeah. And Pat says, that's just the names I was taught. Well, that works. That works. Yep. And that reminds me of back in the day when I worked for the telephone company, and I started to work on the help desk. And at that time, our help desk, based in Bloomington, we covered a region from the northern region of Wisconsin down to the southern tip of Illinois. And telephony has a language all its own when you speak about the equipment. And as you learned how to take the help desk calls, one of the most difficult things was to learn the local dialects for the various pieces of equipment. And as time went on, and so many other people were coming aboard the telephone company and being taught by other people from all over the place, and everything got intermingled, there was often times where the dialects clashed, and a facilities assigner could be overwhelmed by that. And oh boy, did I. Oh, was I overwhelmed. I couldn't keep track of it for the longest time. But they say that it takes about 2.5 years for a facilities assigner to actually learn and become proficient in all the different dialects so that they could do their job and do it efficiently. And then I'll never forget when they came in and decided, oh, we're going to change the system that we work with. We went from a DOS-based system to a Windows-based system. And here we were, all of us having to learn things all over again. And and system crashes and glitches. And then they expanded the territory. My gosh, I can remember taking help desk calls from Hawaii, Florida. I think I took a couple up in Maine. Oh my gosh, all over the place. You answer a phone call and you had no idea where in the nation it was coming from. You had no idea. But yeah. But just like you, all I knew is what I was taught, and that was the foundation. The foundation never changed, but the language was a living thing. And you had to learn how to, quote unquote, dance with that living language. But boy, there were times I just fell on my face during a call. Yep. Yeah. And, a good manager would knew that was to be expected. Sometimes the supervisors didn't quite get it, but a good manager knew that was to be expected. And the supervisor's job was to try and make us the best we can, but sometimes they had a little bit too high of an expectation. But we all got through it for as long as we could. Oh, heck. We've got some contaminants in the air. I'm just taking a sip of iced coffee. You can hear my nose has gotten a little bit clogged, a little bit runny. Yeah, we've definitely got molds and pollens and all that wonderful stuff in the air, but not, in the visual sense. Not in the visual sense, a lot it does. Well, Pat had to step away for a minute, but he's back. Hey, Pat. Welcome back. Yeah, we're just sitting here watching traffic go by and listening to the birds and feeling the breeze. Just having a good time sitting here under the awning. Oh, heck. So how were those pancakes? Oh, yeah. Yeah, Pat says the birds sound lovely over there. Yeah, I think there's a nest, maybe a robin's. I don't know my bird song all that well, but there's a nest. I think it might be robins up in the tree, and you can hear them chirping. And Pat says the pancakes were fantastic. Well, that sounds great. That sounds great. I'm actually going to have some cold homemade ham and bean soup that my neighbor Sarah made early this morning, in the cool of the day, and a little bit of homemade cornbread in that ham and bean soup. Going to mash it up just like it was hot, and just a little bit, just a bowl, and I think that's going to be my lunch for the day. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm having a late lunch, and then tonight, about 6, a friend of mine is going to come by pick me up, and my gosh, we usually get together and have coffee 3 times a week, and things got all kind of miscamboobled and everything else, and schedules and whatnot, and we're going to get together for first time in probably well over a month, and we're going to go over to a little place up here we call the Tin Cup, about 7 miles away from here in Olney. And just a little small town, a little place called Noble. And we're going to probably just get together and spend an hour and have a nice supper for the first time in a while. Just kind of sit out and chill, just kind of like what we're doing here. See who shows up. You never know. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. My friend's Kip, and I don't know if you've ever heard me talk at all about Kip before on any of my other live streams, but Kip had been a Marine. And by the way, once a Marine, always a Marine. So he's still a Marine, even though he's in his 70s now. And he had been a corporal, and I believe he'd been in Vietnam. And just an outstanding man. He can look gruff and sound gruff and everything else, but my gosh, he's got a heart of gold. Just a heart of gold. And just a great guy. I'm lucky to have him as a friend. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. Well, it's very interesting how the wind's running right now. It's kind of typical. When it gets to be like this, it'll come in a little breeze for about 15 minutes or so and then die down to nothing. Then it might gust a little and then come down to nothing. And we're talking about maybe a gust of maybe 8 or 10 miles an hour. And Pat says, if I figure out how to stream on YouTube and stream me making sheet music or just drumming along to something. What do you watch? I just might. I mean, I've had people watch along while, I'm polishing my boots. It's kind of an AMSR type of a thing. To be perfectly honest, because of my own schedule, which itself is always in a flux, I might not be able to catch it in that moment. But, of course, I can subscribe to your channel and keep an eye on it. And if you save if you save the live stream like I do, and let it become a video, or let it, and then it'll be in your archive. I might come back and visit it later. It's kind of like how that thing worked where you made the video of you playing the quad for the first time. But it'll show up in the catalog when I would click on your channel. It would show up as a live stream, even though it's no longer live. But so that's one of the reasons why usually in my own live streams, what I do is I go back into the description or actually I go to the title, and the first thing I do is I change that it's no longer live, but just a basic explanation of what happened during the live stream, and then in the description I enter in the date, the time and date stamp of when it was made, or maybe just the date, and a brief description of what was going on, and that way, someone who at a later time wants to do a search to say, "Gee whiz, I wonder what Pat's like." We might connect up with somebody in the YouTube space, and they're just a little bit more interested in what it is you do, what your artistry is. And that way they can actually see you actually working on your art. And you can also talk while you're making that live stream and talk us through your thoughts as you are creating the music. And in that way, you actually begin to teach us. I mean, you're only 15 years old, but you can actually begin to teach us. Or at least, at the minimum, you enhance our understanding of what it is to do what you do, and enhance our appreciation of you and people like you who not only play the quads, but also write or compose sheet music. And Pat says, I really think that live streaming drumline stuff would be cool. Well, of course it would. Of course it would. All of us who live stream, we just kind of open up our world a little bit to everybody else, so that they can understand us, and then most importantly, in my case, so that I can understand you better. Like I say, Pat, this isn't about me. This is about everybody else when we do the live stream. Because even though I'm 63, doesn't mean that there's not a whole lot of stuff that I don't have, I can learn yet. And, just like you and I connecting on this, we've connected, we've learned so much about each other, and it's just part of the big, beautiful world that we can choose to live in. And all we have to do, is embrace what God set before us and work with it for good. Work with it for good. And what you're doing is that. Because a lot of people feel nothing but joy and admiration and just a sense of wonder when they witness a drum corps performing. And there's so much that goes into that behind the scenes. And you guys just don't magically appear on a football field or wherever it is you perform. There is thousands and thousands of hours of hard work, dedication, and wisdom passed down from generation to generation on that field. It is just nothing shy of a miracle. So I've got to ask Pat, have you ever seen the movie Mr. Holland's Opus? Okay, and Pat has asked me to repeat this. There might be a little bit of wind noise. I had asked Pat if they had seen the movie Mr. M.R. Holland, HOLLAND'(S), Opus, OPUS. And and Pat says that they haven't. Well, I don't know if that's, how can I put it? I usually just watch movies on YouTube, and I don't know if that's ever been on YouTube. But you might want to do a search. I'm trying to remember the name of the lead actor in it. But it's the story of the journey of a band teacher who wanted to perform. Excuse me, I get choked up. But he wanted to lead an orchestra, but instead found himself leading school bands. And excuse me. And I'll never forget when I saw that movie for the first time. It was either in the 1980s or the 1990s. And the first thing I thought of was like, oh my God, they made a movie about Mr. Gingler. Well, in that moment, it seemed that way. But in reality, they made a movie about everybody. They made a movie about everybody. And you might not be able to understand that at age 15. Oftentimes it takes many, many years for you to gain the experience and maturity to be able to accumulate that. It's no fault of your own. It's just that you're young. And, but it will come. I promise it will come if you don't quite get it the first time around how that movie could be about everyone. But I'm pretty sure you will understand how it shows the journey of a young man through the entirety of his life, who continuously strives to reach his dream, and with the help of those he taught, eventually, for a moment, achieves that dream. Life is like that. Every single moment, we have an opportunity to actually touch our dream, to touch what it is that God instilled in each and every one of us. All we have to do is reach out and touch those moments and hold them close. That's the trick. That's the trick. That's kind of how we find happiness. I mean, we can't hold on to it all the time because those moments are kind of fleeting. We can always choose contentment as best we can until, of course, things can get around you and you really don't have a chance to have contentment because you're in a panic. But when we're sad or blue, we can choose contentment. It's just like you heard me, my voice starting to crack and everything. All right. And it'd be easy to say that I was sad in that moment. Yeah, I shed a tear just describing it. But it wasn't really because I was sad. It was just because it was such a beautiful, beautiful revelation and story. And I learned so much. So much. Just by that musical thing that God instilled in me. It's a gift. Just like you've got, Pat. Just like you've got. Yeah. Well, listen, kid. And I say that endearingly because you're a young adult. But it's coming up on about 5 minutes to 3 in the afternoon. I still haven't had my lunch yet, and really I need to get a little something in my gut, and then I gotta jump in the shower and get ready for the Kipster to come by and pick me up at 5 o'clock, and we're gonna go over and have our supper over there at the Tin Cup. And Pat says here, I'm sorry if I'm silent, I'm just listening. Oh no, we're good. We're good. You don't have to apologize. Just, type in a little something like "still here," or maybe an emoji of an ear or something, or just a thumbs up, or just an emoji of some sort to let me know that you're still there. Or you could actually, there's just many different ways. Just put "still here," keep going, or "yep, yeah, I think I get it," and then I know when to start bringing things to a close, and we can move on to the next thing. So yeah, it all works. You're cool. You're definitely cool, Pat. Love having you aboard. But seriously, I do have to get around. We've been on here for going on 50 minutes, and like I said, if I don't shut this down, then I'm going to be late for supper with Kip, and I'm sure we're going to have a lot of stuff to chew the fat over ourselves, and it'll be a good time too. Wish you could be there, but we're just a couple old farts, and yeah, sometimes we just need to get together and be old farts. Yeah. With any luck, you'll get here too. And Pat says, all right, we'll see you, Bruno. You too, Pat. And I think with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap it all up, folks. And as I always say to everyone out there, good luck. Godspeed. And we're going to see you around town.